We hang the petty thieves and appoint the great ones to public office. Good evening and welcome. This is Face the Nation. Our topic of discussion today is crossing the Rubicon, state of politics in Sri Lanka. Joining us this evening on the show are Deputy Minister Chathuranga Abeysinghe representing the government, Anuradha Wimalaratne representing the SJB, Damitha Wickramasinghe representing the Sri Lanka Pujana Peramuna, as well as Dr. Kithsiri Manchanayake representing the United National Party. To pose questions from our panelists this evening, on to my immediate left is Shiharani's independent journalist. You too, as always, can join in as far as the conversation is concerned. Send in your messages via WhatsApp, 076 656 5353. The number once again, 076 656 5353. Let's get the ball rolling today with Chathuranga Abeysinghe, Deputy Minister, representing the government. Chathuranga, what is happening right now? Given the current context in the last 1.5 weeks, a lot of developments have taken place. What is the government's stand on all these matters that have happened in the last couple of days?
I think last couple of days some significant events took place, but in the context of the trajectory that we are in, we are gaining a lot of ground on our economy, especially on our exports and on our industrial transformation, and also especially the reforms that needs to happen in the parliament, especially the laws and the regulation, and some of the significant cabinet decisions have come out in the last few weeks. Apart from that, I think a lot of debate and discussion were among the postal strike. It took about a week to resolve it, but government stood strong on its position and was able to resolve that issue with a positive note. And I think last few days was about the whole discussion was about the ex-president being remanded for accusation. I think those two were the significant ones at the last few days. But apart from that, I think the changes and the cabinet decisions towards the changes that we need in each of the ministries taking place, probably we don't hear them much.
Right. So you mentioned a few things, Chathuranga, but I'm just going to pick one for the moment because it's the opening round. Let's pick the former president's putting him under remand custody by the courts. I just want to touch a little bit about that before we really move with the other speakers. What is the position of the government about this corruption? Because you all came with a mandate to fight corruption, and now you all seem to have rolled out your initiatives with regard to what is happening. Because if you look at the history of this arrest, the complaint was filed by the present secretary to the president, and as a result of that only the investigations had been carried out, and as a result of that only the CID arrested the former president. So just to get some context, private life and public life, now this has become a big issue. What is the definition of the government relating to this?
I think public life, private life is very clear cut. There is no grey area, and public life, the public funds can be used. Private life, private funds has to be used, and there is a particular way regulation and rules and also ethics around it. So government's position and all of our politicians' positions is we will not use as much as possible public funds for our private requirements. And if there is at any point a conflict of interest that we see, it's better to declare and get prior approval. That kind of a process is what we will follow.
Right.
I think
so
that is very clear. It's a demarcation of public and private.
Right. So you spoke about public and private life on a general basis for all politicians. But let's talk about the president himself. Now, on the 23rd of December 2024, that was last year after President Rubicon was elected as a president, he went and visited his mother who was receiving treatment at the Anuradha Teaching Hospital. Is this a private visit or is this a public visit?
It's a private visit.
So are you trying to tell me that the president spent his own money from Colombo to go up to Thamuttegama, Anuradhapura and probably took a pick-me or an Uber or something
I
of
think,
that sort? What exactly happened?
No, I think even
Did he
for
not
us
use
as
his-
public servants, we are given certain facilities like transportation, some are given security. So that is part and parcel of day-to-day expenditure, which is anyway incurred. Probably there can be a little bit of a more fuel expenditure that goes into it, but it's part and parcel of our job. And there is discretionary in a certain amount of private travel and all that. That is where it is budgeted in what is the expenditure. But if it's about something that you need to extra ordinarily spend, this is a discussion. So we are trying to debate.
No, but what is a fine line? Because now this is what is under contention at the moment in the public
it is
domain.
not. No, it is not.
No. Let's look at it very progressively, Chathuranga, just for us to get some context to it. Now, on the 23rd of December, President Anuradha Wimalaratne visited his mother. Now, you're saying this is a private visit.
Yeah.
So, does that mean when the president is engaged on a private visit, he doesn't take his security, he doesn't take the ambulance that goes with him, he doesn't take anyone else just by himself, he doesn't take any of the vehicles that go with him? Isn't that a cost to the state if it's demarcated as
that is entitled,
public,
right? That is entitled for a public officer to carry his security.
Right. So then why not President Ranil Wickramasinghe going to Wolverhampton, that graduation ceremony of the wife? How is that
So this is
construed as a
contested
private,
in the
private
court
visit?
now
Yeah.
because the accusation is misuse of public funds, and this includes I think 16 million rupees.
Yeah, 16.6.
16.6, and this is the real investigation coming through, to my knowledge, because it's anyway contested in the courts, and we should see what the verdict is because judgments of the court also looked at from a perspective of legality and also form an opinion on what is right or wrong. Also, I think that we could see this as a good outcome for giving this clarity to ambiguous area which is getting debated, as you correctly said. But here the issue was that this particular travel initially has been designated, this is what was on the paper, what was discussed in the court, right? I'm quoting. So it was said that this particular travel initially was quoted as travel, and then it was changed. Then it was changed to a private travel. Right, so this document has been changed, and there has been some investigation between the private secretary and the secretary of the president, and this particular travel has been categorized as a private travel, and it is not considered the official travel, especially the expenditure that was spent on traveling to UK and the stay in that area.
Yeah, no, but does the president have a private life?
Yeah, presidents do have a private life. So I think in private life, I mean, just I'm trying to give a general answer, right? This is not the policy or something written. And so say that I want to go on a private trip, right? So
As Chathuranga Abeysinghe.
As Chathuranga Abeysinghe, right? So generally,
who may become the president of the country one day.
You are talking about the president, right?
Yeah.
So even a minister, right? So even now official vehicles, there's a provision that you can use to on private
there is a
travel,
certain
right?
amount.
Because
Yes,
you
we are
deduct
aware.
some amount,
Yeah,
and
we are
we have
aware.
said
Yes, we are
that.
aware, yes.
And say that there's a security one. So what I would do is I would tell that I am going on a trip with my own expenditure, but however I would use the security as a protocol, right? So that is the ethical and more transparent way of doing it, right? I mean, that's why I say in life there is like
So now what happens to the security provided to Chathuranga Abeysinghe?
No, it will stay as official. So it is as
you are going on a private visit.
Yeah.
You are going to claim for that amount. Understood. Very well understood. But are you trying to say, what about the security?
So now the context is whether the security expenditure is something misuse of public funds. No, I think that's a debate we can have till evening, right? So as
we have some time today.
That's okay. So I'm openly saying, if it's a person that needs to be protected, that need to be protected, right?
So do you agree? that the president, wherever he travels, may it be a private or a public,
you need to have security.
You need to have security.
And it has to be declared.
Right. That's understood.
That's my premise, right? So for example, if I'm going on a private travel, if I'm entitled to security as a official, like a protocol, I should carry it. And I should be able to say that the entire expenditure of the hotel and my meals and all that I will bear. And I will take the security on these few days of my pleasure.
But then the security money has to come from the state.
I think that should be the practical way of doing things. Right? I think we'll get a lot of clarity out of this case.
Right. One final question, Chathuranga, before I move to Anuradha. With all this that's happening right now in the political domain with regard to the arrest of remanding of Wickramasinghe, the opposition today, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Usually, Chathuranga, when you come, there are several parties who will be against you in this very platform, maybe the SJB or the UNP or the NPP. But today, I fear that there will be three parties together trying to be against the government.
That's okay.
Don't you think that development really came about because of the actions of the NPP?
No, they can't get together. They are ideologically different. Their motives are different. They are just making a noise together, and we would love if they come together, because there's less hassle for us, because then we have to respond to one party. Otherwise, they will get 3 seats here. Now, after that, when they get to you will get 1 seat here. So basically, we are exactly loving this process, because every time they get threatened, the entire system gets threatened in an election or this kind of a situation. Because if you look at the faces of the ones who sat on that, whatever the joint opposition thing, all of them might go into jail, because most of them has allegations that is not completed. The files are there. Everything is happening in a smooth way. I think the AG and the criminal investigation, they are bringing things which are quite close and easy to prove, right? So the ones which are complex and which need a lot of investigation, each of those people who are sitting there, most of them have allegations behind them. So I think that is the fear, because all this time, Shamir, I think even here we've debated why the law applies to a person, common man, does not apply to somebody in politics, right? So this is what's being broken here. Globally also, looking at Sri Lanka now, there is very clear evidence that whether it's ex-president or is from a family of those 5 families who rule this nation, and the related relatives of those families and the businessmen who ruined this country, is not spared at any cost. And this government will ensure that all those people who kind of misuse funds and robbed this country all these years will be taken to task. And we have given...
Because the issue is, Chathuranga, with the definition that's going to come about with this court verdict with regard to private and public life, there may be a problem that may crop up in the future if President Anuradha Wimalaratne is not the president anymore.
That's okay. We are okay with that.
What happens to all the political rallies he attended during the general election? Is it a private or a public? All these things will come into contention. So that has to be a very good understanding.
No? So as a country, if we can create in agreement some reforms which are strong in ethics, which are strong in governance, I don't think we ever had this debate even. No, I think we've got ministers to have about 15 to 20 people onto their private staff. All of them were given vehicles, they were given staff were taken to the key positions. That is this misuse of public funds as historically.
The issue comes up, Chathuranga. Now I'll tell you a classic example. Now when the president goes from wherever he's staying to the office, that is construed as official travel. But from office, if he's going for lunch to the house, how is that construed? Is that private or public?
So I think this...
Then who's paying for that?
So what...
this is the issue.
I mean...
The definition is going to be extremely broader.
This is a debate. That's what I'm saying. This debate is good to have after so many years of misuse of public funds. So today we are discussing a finer detail of what is a public life and a private. I think this is great. So let's look at what India does. Let's look at what Singapore does. Let's look at what New Zealand does. Let's look at what Norway does. So there's ground principles of how things are, even in a private corporate like here. We would get a vehicle, we would get a fuel allowance, we would get certain benefits. And then there is no distinction between private, public in certain allocations you are given.
Certain terms.
So certain terms. So then there is a clear-cut guideline, clear-cut ethics, clear-cut understanding, norms and forms that's going to form. So I think this is a great place that we would
start.
Because we are going to set the standards which these guys will never be able to adhere to. So obviously the politics have changed for good.
Okay. Let's ask Anuradha. Anuradha, I leave from the point where Chathuranga finished off. We are going to set the standard that the other people or other politicians will not be able to carry forward. Having said that, the opposition now seems to be very united. Now, if I look at the last few months, the way in which your leader has criticized Ranil Wickramasinghe, they were not even in a position to meet in the same podium and discuss about whether they're uniting the party or not. There was such a division. But today, Sajid Premadas is like the ward attendant. He's almost there every day to look at President Ranil Wickramasinghe. It's what politics does. It's crazy.
Sanil, yeah, politics makes for some strange bedfellows, I guess. But this is the thing. As an opposition, I don't think we are united in that manner. As the SJB, we have always stood where it's right for the country, right? And even in this case, we are not per se, saying, backing Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, because personally, I think this is a production by Mr. Wickramasinghe and his good friend, Mr. Anuradha Wimalaratne, right? Because now,
you're saying this is a plot between the two of them.
Obviously, two best friends, right?
First time I've heard that conspiracy theory.
This is straight out of Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe's playbook. Now, before this NPP government came into power, what were they saying about Mr. Wickramasinghe? They were saying he robbed the central bank. There is this Batalanda allegation, and like if you're talking about all the allegations that should be against Mr. Wickramasinghe, those two are key ones. And then his blatant disregard for the Supreme Court decision to allocate funds or release funds for the last local government election. Now, these are real cases, right? But this case is a distraction method, because of a government that is failing left and right. They went for a distraction tactic. And look at what's going to happen. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Wickramasinghe was nowhere. He was doing some, international lecturing all over the world, and then, watching Netflix and staying at home. And within the past week, Mr. Wickramasinghe has become an icon and a hero. What happened, during the last election.
So are you trying to say,
Ranil Wickramasinghe said, don't vote for Sajid, vote for my good friend Anuradha. Because when Ranil Wickramasinghe's time is finishing, he supported Anuradha Wimalaratne. Now Anuradha Wimalaratne's time is finishing, now he's bringing up Ranil Wickramasinghe. This is what's happening. And people of this country, what Rubicon, right?
Anuradha, this is the first time, honestly, jokes apart, this is the first time I've heard this conspiracy theory coming into play. That where Anuradha Wimalaratne and Ranil Wickramasinghe got together and got Ranil Wickramasinghe to be imprisoned in court. And as a result of that, he's in the ICU. And after a few days, he was released on bail. First time ever.
See,
it doesn't even look as if a conspiracy. It looks as some illusion, a disillusioned Anuradha Wimalaratne who's coming and saying this.
This is the thing. In politics,
this is your own opinion.
This is my own opinion, right?
This is not the party's
in politics, you need to look at what's happening behind, the scene, right? in this case, now what is going to happen with this case? Obviously, everybody in this country knows, that I know in the world knows, Chathuranga might not, a president does not have a public life and a private life, right? If the president is going to have, if any president is going to have a private time or day off, then there should be someone, they are heading the executive branch, right? So there is no off times for a president, head of the executive, head of the legislature, head of the judiciary. There are no off times, right? So because of that, this is not a real case, right? This is not going to be held up in court, right? Now, after this, Mr. Wickramasinghe is going to get cleared. What is going to happen? He is going to be like Nelson Mandela. He's going to write a book. He is going to be cleared of, misusing public funds. A man who is, in my opinion, corrupt, right, is going to get cleared. A same kind of thing happened.
That particular.
Wait, same thing happened against Mr. Arjun Mahendran, right? When he was getting accused of this central bank issue, Mr. Wickramasinghe got a couple of UNP lawyers to go and file a case in the Supreme Court against Arjun Mahendran. And that case got thrown out. You know why? Because there were so many technical faults. Do you understand? Then, at that point, what they said was, see, Arjuna Mahendran was cleared by the Supreme Court. He was not cleared. The case had technical faults and it got thrown out.
Because based on what you're trying to say, someone who's watching the show today might think that this is a deal between SJB and the NPP.
What deal? This is not good for us. This is good for Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, and this is good for the NPP because
as a result
it's
of that,
distracting, what's going wrong with this government and, all the things that
You still didn't answer my question. Now, you all did not even see eye to eye with Ranil Wickramasinghe. But today, your leader, as I said before, is like the ward attendant at the ICU at the Colombo National Hospital.
Yeah, that is because this is not a real case. And what was the way?
How do you define whether it's a real case or not?
The way it is not going to be held up in court, man. It's not going to happen. It's a farce. Right, this is a distractionary tactic. That's all it is.
Just before I move on from this point onwards, please take responsibility for whatever you all are saying.
Yeah,
because
as always.
It's important that we're talking about a very sensitive matter, not only for the nation but also to the court. So please bear in mind there are some limitations. So please stick to those limitations. Yes or no. So. I'll come back to you, Anuradha. I'm just a bit perplexed. I am myself Fox today, trying to figure out what you're trying to say, because now initially I thought you all three were together and Chathuranga was alone. But now I'm trying to figure out where is Anuradha staying in this entire equation.
This is the thing.
You all are not anymore. Now are you trying to tell me that you are not with NPP or you all are not with the SLPP or the UNP? No.
This is the thing. We are always with the people of this country. Right now, Chathuranga was saying
now,
that
how many people came that day for that protest march?
What?
Now that day in courts, how many were there?
What do you mean?
Like you're saying, you are with the people, right?
Yeah.
If Ranil Wickramasinghe was being taken to courts on Tuesday, 26, Damitha Nayaka having a joint media briefing said, let people come. Tell me, was there even 1,000 people? Were you there?
No, I was not there. I was not there. No, the thing
he knew the conspiracy.
Yeah.
No. The thing is, this is a distractionary tactic by this government. This is not going to be held up.
Right, we'll come back to it. Yeah.
Because the thing is this. How how are you going to define this? Like take the judges. Like they are getting JSD, they are getting government vehicles, If they make a ruling, on something like this, where is this going to end up?
We'll talk. We can't, again, as I said before,
Criminals
we are not judges.
Going to go,
we are not judges.
go
Nor are
and,
we
ask
lawyers.
for, where did the judges go?
So,
in their vehicles, and did they use the JSD or not?
Yeah, but we are not, as I said before, we are not in a position to comment on judges, nor are we in a position to comment on lawyers.
No, I'm not commenting on any of them. I'm just saying, where this will end up, if this goes forward.
Thanks, Anuradha. Yes. We'll come back to you momentarily, Anuradha. I now move to Damitha Wickramasinghe from the SLPP. Damitha, now you all are okay with the UNP and the SJB. Now, no problem, everything has been ironed out. Now you all are as one force together.
What do you mean, the UNP and the SJB? Or?
And the SLPP.
No.
Still you all have, ideologically you all are
the
still
thing
different.
is, Shamir, against any injustice, against any suppression, we are ready to, get together with anyone. But that doesn't mean that we have gone to a political alliance. So as far as today, we are still a centre-left party, standing on our own feet, representing our own, voter base. And in future, if there is going to be any sort of alliance, that's for the leadership to decide, not for me. So as far as the, official stance, at the moment, we are independent centre-left party. But suppression, we are against.
Suppression you are against. So for me to just understand, Anuradha, now with all these events that took place in Sri Lanka in the last couple of days, I'm referring particularly to President Ranil Wickramasinghe's court case. What is the position of the SLPP on this matter?
Well, the position is now, if you take the current proceedings, first of all, Mr. Wickramasinghe has been charged for misuse of public funds, for taking his security to a so-called private visit to UK. But then again, the complainant, who is the President's secretary, about 2 weeks ago, there was a news mentioning his wife and kid traveling in the official vehicle, and the vehicle meeting with an accident. Probably it was done through the guidelines that Chathuranga explained to us. Probably, I don't know. But then again, if you are so against the usage of public fund and public property to the extent where you go and complain against a former president, I don't think it's justifiable for the particular person to use the public vehicle for your private travel, right? You have to set an example.
But are you all saying this because jitters are going down the spine of the SLPP members? Because given the fact that what Mahinda Rajapaksa did during his time may also lead to some arrests like this in the future.
We Shamir, this kind of political farce, we have been going through the this kind of harassment. We went through the Yapalne period, right? This is not something new for us, right? And out of those cases, I think 80% were acquitted of the charges and they were set free. So we don't fear this government, not at all.
But don't you think at least this drive of anti-corruption, at least the people are feeling it now, as Chathuranga in his opening remarks said, exports are doing extremely well now. It just crossed the 10 billion mark in the first 6 months. Tourism arrivals looks very healthy, is looking at achieving approximately 2.5 million arrivals of tourists after 2019, the highest ever tourist arrivals to the country. Economic growth now stands approximately at 5% or 5.5% if there is no external calamities whatsoever. So everything looks very positive, energized. They know exactly what they're doing. Are you with that analogy, or aren't you
Well, that's the
against
government's rhetoric. No, I don't know about the number of arrivals, but the tourism minister was disclosing 3.7 billion revenue, and it was then next day corrected by the deputy minister, and it was brought down to 1.7 billion. And exports, of course, it's good. I mean, if something is happening for the sake of the country, it's good. But then again, tourism, if they took it up to 2.5 million, I remember right after Mr. Dissanayake was sworn in as president, China promised to send another 2 million tourists. Have they also arrived? I mean, is it something strategically new that they did, or was this a organic growth? And also in terms of economic growth, I don't know how you will achieve 5.4%. As far as I know, government capital expenditure still stands below 50%, and the World Bank also has downgraded the growth projection to 3.2%. So looking at all that, I think we are, former Minister Bandula Gunawardena explained it really well. I mean,
in his economics, of course.
No, not his economics, but the situation.
Of course, we have
this is like having a. This is like having.
He's the person who said 2,500
people can believe. I'm not.
Whereas his daughters
I'm not trying to talk about his economic policies. He was mentioning at a YouTube program, this government. Basic explanation is it's like having a barbecue on top of a volcano, which is bursting and erupting below. So I mean, if the picture is so rosy, right? Will we see the reserve targets? Will they be achieved by December as per the IMF guidelines? When you look closely, I don't think that's happening. So yeah, the government rhetoric is ongoing, and this victimization of politics. They just think that they can turn this into a one-party political system. That will never happen. And the only thing with this, I don't want to comment anything on a matter which is pending at court, but with this charge, the office of the presidency was put in limbo. Right, like Anuradha correctly asked, how can you define a president's private life and a public life? A presidency is a 24-hour job. When President Donald Trump travels to play golf in Florida, is he taking his own security? No other country in the world, may it be private or public, the head of state is given security 24/7.
Right.
And saying all that, I of course don't want to defend Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe. I have never voted for him, and I have certain concerns to the injustice he did for our party. This is not a matter about Ranil Wickramasinghe. This is a matter about democracy and justice.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Damitha. I now move my attention towards Dr. Kithsiri Manchanayake from the United National Party. Kithsiri, is President Wickramasinghe doing well now? How is his health condition?
Shamil, thank you very much for inviting me for the program. He's still not good because he has to be there for at least a week or so, but it's improving, but I think doctor's advice is to be a few more days at the ICU and then move into a normal ward. And
right, so we wish him a speedy recovery, but that's not the point that we're coming at. Now, we know that 16.6 million rupees was spent on President Ranil Wickramasinghe's visit to the UK. Now, let's say, hypothetically, we all agree that Ranil Wickramasinghe has all the right to go to the UK. He's not a private individual anymore. He's a public official. Henceforth, I totally understand. Let's say we take that to account. However, my question is, how did Ranil Wickramasinghe's private secretary go for this visit? No,
I mean,
what is
no? I mean, now say we were talking. Yeah.
So, we all know President has the right to go. It's okay. How did the private secretary go for this visit? Because she wanted to attend the graduation ceremony.
No, let me see. Now this is, as we all know, when you go to US.
Just want to attend it.
No, wait, let me tell you, right? When you on transit, we have used different routes, right? You can use Hong Kong, you can use Japan, you can use Dubai, Qatar. Or this is US. I mean, London is also another way of going to US. So on his way back, he went to his wife's graduation. So he came with the security, private secretary, all came together. It's a transit. 1.5 days transit. Even the private secretary, you go in some other plane and I want to stay in, you can't do like that. I'm secretary, you can't chase them out. So you have to keep their security because he's the president of the country. He's the president of a country, we'll say. Right? Now there's an argument, he's staying in one of the suite hotels, presidential suite. So if the president can go and stay boutique hotel or a 2-star hotel? Can't. I can see the argument. So I was in the courts at that time. I overheard that some of the
president staying in a presidential suite is okay. What about the rest of the did the private secretary also stay in this presidential hotel where the president?
So I mean, all were in the same hotel.
That's okay.
The security also is the same hotel.
That is not the misuse of public funds.
No, I mean, so then you want me to...
Kithsiri, don't get it wrong. I'm not asking you about the security. I'm not asking you about the doctor. I am asking you about the private secretary who went.
What do you mean by private secretary? Now, if it's a private official visit, president's secretary. I mean, not president's secretary, but
he goes everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he has to do all documentation. President secretary has to come back. He has come back directly from US. So then he needs some documentation. President needs somebody to assist that. No, that's a common practice. So I mean,
then why was it changed from, as Chathuranga said, from visit to private visit to official visit?
That, of course, I don't know. There's no change. That's why, but I know that there's a point.
I'm sure the CID won't submit documents to court.
So let them go through all the documents.
No, they have gone through documents. Yeah. This is what it says. Dileepa, he is the Deputy Solicitor General, had told this to court.
Yeah.
It has been changed on 3 occasions. If it was not a problem, why was it changed on 3 occasions?
But it's not changed. Actually, they have given the proper document on that day, right? So that, I mean, then only the Lipids also have seen it. So now they want to investigate the document, whether it's a forged document or a correct document. Let them do that.
They want to check whether the university letter is a forged document, because that is not. Now, if it's an official visit, that letter has to be there in the foreign ministry. That letter has to be there at the United Kingdom embassy. In both these places, this letter in question is not there. This letter was supposedly brought into play by the United National Party itself. So that is why they are now looking at the authenticity of this particular document in question.
United National Party, what do you mean by it?
No, that is what you all presented to court.
Right.
You all had the document, but that document was not available at the foreign ministry, nor was the document available at the United Kingdom Sri Lankan High Commission office as well.
That this invitation came through the High Commission. High Commission also participated in this event. All the protocol officers also were there. Right? I mean, let them go through it and...
Did the High Commission?
Yeah. It's a
the Sri Lankan
High Commission over there. So then how come it's... I mean, you can't say it's a private visit when the president of the country visit to a country. But I have seen something. These people have spent only 5 million in Cuba and this much in UK. Those are...
Don't come into that, because we all know. Don't come into that.
Yeah, okay, right.
We don't want to talk about it. Just answer the question that we are asking you. We are asking you a very simple question. How did the private secretary accommodate the president on his personal visit?
So it's not personally, normally private secretary, he goes over.
So wherever the president goes, the private secretary also goes. Wherever
that's the practice. I mean, just say, I don't want even current president, probably is somebody private secretary is going with him, right? Or even the President Premadasa, President Jayawardena, Chandrika Kumar Tunga, Mahinda Rajapaksa, all, right? So in future, if it is an offence, so we have to, as Honourable Minister correctly mentions, we have to see it. Now, that was the practice, right? I mean, do you know that some people have taken hundreds and...
Right, no. Two wrongs don't make it right, no. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
Now say, Honourable current President is going to Anuradhapura to see his mother, also going to be a problem now. That's coordinated talks going on, right? Likewise, so we have to have a benchmark. We have to have some ruling in future. So that is to be done it. So all these, now, anybody now in this scenario, we can tell all the former presidents have misuse of public funds. Even go to a funeral, proper relation is a misuse of private fund, right? So you can argue like that, Shami. But the thing is, especially this particular incident, the invitation came through the embassy, ambassador.
No, that invitation is not there at the embassy. That's the problem.
So, but now they have given to the courts. But even the university, I mean,
you can present anything to the courts, but whether that particular document was at the High Commission is a question mark, because usually what happens is, Kithsiri, when an official invitation is given, it first of all goes to the High Commission or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have that letter in question.
But
now when the CID, those two institutions don't have this letter in question. It was presented by the attorneys to President Ranil Wickramasinghe to court,
right?
And that is why they said, until that court proceedings are over, under the Public Property Act, he has to be remanded because they have to check the authenticity of this particular letter in question. Now the magistrate, the learned magistrate, had instructed the CI to look into this as well.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, right? So go through all the documents, fine. Now what I'm trying to say is this particular document, we'll come to that main picture of this, right? President of a country, right? He's going abroad, right? He's the president. He's not a 24-hour job. Now, Honorable Anuradha Dissanayake became the president on the 22nd of September. He's the president until next August 2029. Whether can he even, as Anuradha correctly mentioned, say I am off today, I am not the president of the country today. Can he say like that? I am going to see my mother, right? Today is my holiday. Can do that? No. I mean, even any other official can do that, right? I am not working. Even a minister probably can take the deputy minister, right? But president you can't. Right? Special case this. That's why I'm telling you this. I mean, maybe Ranil Wickramasinghe's history. I don't know whether he has used public funds in that. I have not. This is the first time I have come across, because he has given his house to the Royal College, and he has given whatever. He has not been in the any not used houses, official houses. Basically, he was staying in his house, but only at the time of burn his house only he was shifted to Prajet Road and stayed a couple of years, right? I mean, 1 year probably, right? He is not a person. I don't know. So many other allegations probably there. So that is.
But that you agree?
No. There. No, allegations. Those are allegations. No, Shamil. Those are allegations. So then
the central bank
prove at the courts.
The Batalanda incident.
Yeah, whatever you can say, Batalanda Central Bank.
But
so you proved at the courts.
Yeah, but the issue that I have
until you prove it.
Yeah, but the issue that I have is all these opposition parties are getting together, Shihar, and are now saying it's okay if he's imprisoned for the central bank bond controversy. It's okay. Yeah. It is okay if he's imprisoned for the Batalanda case.
Imprisoned, right?
But we are against him being in prison because of losing public property.
What we are against is the government using the judiciary to suppress using political.
No, what I'm trying to say is
that's what we are against.
In this country, it's a big
in the right.
We have the big how in the country right throughout. Batalanda and Central Bank, Arjun Mahindra, those are the main highlighted topics. No? But end of the day, he remanded Ranil Wickramasinghe for something else. That's being a president.
But you're not with the same analogy that Anuradha is. No, that
what is it?
That the NPP and the UNP are together.
No. I am not trying to say we are actually NPP and we were together. We were ruling the country for 2 years together. Right? I mean, during last president, not together, but
NPP.
Oh, no, sorry. No. NPP. Sorry. NPP. No, I know that. Honorable Anuradha Dissanayake
went down my spine.
I know that. They are good personal friends. I don't know politically, right? So, I mean, we are not together. Because the reason is NPP never helped Ranil Wickramasinghe to become president in the country. But NPP helped.
So I want to open the floor. Yeah,
give me a second.
I'll come back to you. Just give me a second. I want to open the floor for questions from Shiar. But Chathuranga, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, I think the premise of this discussion is like government is taking all the decisions. No, we have to very clearly understand there's a legal process in this country which we have made independent and probably made it strong. So as citizens also we can claim or we can accuse anybody even now within this government or previous governments on a particular incident that we feel is not right. So then it will get investigated and it will go to courts, and whether it goes to court is a wrong thing or right thing, and if it's a allegation or accusation which will get punished or not is a part of the process. I think we should first, as a premise, we need to agree that this is a process that's running which never ran on certain people, certain type of people, certain class of people, certain power. This particular process did not run. So this is the first time probably it's running. So I think this accusation of government hand-picking cases and putting people behind bars is not something that we should discuss, because we are actually contemplating the court.
But this
The complainant is the president's secretary,
not
no?
the process, Chathuranga. That is the problem.
the complainant, as Damitha said,
They should have
here
taken a statement.
The current president.
Yeah. So the
They
thing
should have
is,
taken a statement,
now,
then investigated it, then gone to
That
the
is
Attorney
what has
General.
happened,
No, they just
Chathuranga,
put this put the president in jail.
Why Ranil
And
Wickramasinghe?
one second.
There had been a lot of former presidents, right?
Right.
There had been Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Mahinda Rajapaksa, Maithripala Sirisena, Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumartungala. Why Ranil?
So this came about, if you can remember, I think 3 months ago, Bimal Ratnayake, Honorable Minister Bimal Ratnayake presented, there was a question in the parliament about foreign travel for previous 2 years. So he kind of presented 960 million. Close to that amount of
So
foreign
basically,
travel. Right? So he got
you all referred to only Ranil Wickramasinghe's period.
that period, and that there was a analysis on that travel, and that is where this thing would have cropped up and made a concept. But I don't know. But what we are trying to say is, this is not a hand-picked thing. It's something based on a particular allegation that has been made of the investigation that took within the president. We investigated on the vehicles, we investigated on the travel, we investigated on certain things of even the president's fund. We investigated
Only for those 2 years, is it?
no, not for certain things, for all. I'm not sure. But this was a particular question that was raised about President Ranil Wickramasinghe's travel, I think, in the parliament. Probably this is how it cropped up. What I'm trying to say is, this entire debate, whilst the opposition say this is a witch hunt and this is, we are going after people, we also need to appreciate the processes running. That's my point.
So I want to bring this question, Chaturanga. Now, I remember when President Andrekumar Dissanayake went his first 3 foreign visits. I think it's India, China and UAE. The cabinet spokesman said the spending was something like 1.8 million right, rupees. And this is because some others basically sponsored his visit.
Both
right?
3 countries sponsored
Yes.
visit.
And then when he went to Vietnam, he came back in a private jet.
Myanmar.
Vietnam,
right?
offered by
Now,
the government of Vietnam.
How ethical is it for a president to take money or funds from others? Isn't he coming under obligation from others because of his taking funds from others?
I mean, I'm not sure how that works in the entirety of it, because basically the governments do invite and you host, right? So I think even for the foreign certain presidents go to other countries and say, like Narendra Modi, president, the government of Sri Lanka goes and invites him. If you invite, basically the host country takes care of the travel. Even as ministers, we get a lot of invites from foreign countries, but I don't think we do get into obligation of such a travel, because it's
you're getting the point that Shehar is trying to say, Chaturanga. What he's saying is, going to Vietnam was not the problem. Coming back from Vietnam from a private jet is the problem.
Okay.
Whether you will be under obligation when such matters happen, that's the question.
Not only that, even taking money from people, like, I mean, the sponsors, right?
These are government sponsored. These are people who are sponsored. Like,
let's not broaden.
No private.
As far as
what I'm trying to answer is right. So there was not at a point we took money. President took money from a friend or a businessman or anything. This was those governments who spend on it, which is coming to the initial invitation. For example, now I have invitation for China. And I went on Australia, the DFAT tour. When they invite through the foreign ministry, as you correctly said, it says these are the terms of travel, and these are the things that they would cover, these are the things that we should cover. So likewise, a president's visit on invitation can be sponsored by that country and coming back.
Coming back on a private
So Shamir, I don't know the details because I'm talking to public here. Say that president wanted to go to Vietnam, and with that visit they would have scheduled the time 3 days, right? And then at the same discussion, President would have told, I have to be here on the same day because I have the local council election. That is a need of the President. And then the negotiation or the inviting party would have said, we will ensure that you come back. So that's the whole part of this, right? So that's why I'm saying, so whatever we do as public servants has to be clearly articulated upfront and clearly communicated with documentation how it's going to happen. So there's no ambiguity. Yeah. Even this particular trip, I am personally saying, if this was the entirety of that we are speaking that the President had to go to UK, right? And for this particular thing, he can't avoid because that is coming because his wife's graduation, which is a very important thing to him, and he needs to be at that time. So obviously you should have documented everything here, talk to the foreign ministry, and this is how I'm going to spend my time. And if that document was there, I don't think this whole allegation of forging and hiding would come into play. This is what I'm trying to say. So there are ways that you can avoid conflict because you have to do it with a particular rationale that you are responsible, accountable for every cent that you spend.
Basically, this is a procedural error.
Yeah, now Chathuranga, now in
The
this
explanation
government,
only, looks like it's a procedural error.
Let's for a moment let's forget about this Ranil Wickramasinghe's issue and about these foreign trips. Now the government and President Anuradha Dissanayake will complete 1 year on the 21st of September next month, right? Now you said about you have enacted laws and brought reforms and a lot of cabinet decisions. Now for an average citizen, if he asks what is the benefit I have got,
so number one
what
is
will you
so for average citizen you would see that the stability of the economy is reflected on the goods and services what we consume, right? The ease of getting things done.
Do you say the price of goods and services have reduced?
No,
then?
it has not escalated.
Oh.
So our inflation has been hovering around minus 1% to 1%. If you take the major commodities, prices have come down rather increase. Even the electricity has come down from January 2024 to today by 5 to 6% after these two adjustments, right? So we don't see any escalation of expenditure. But if you take the public servants, their salaries got increased. The private sector got a salary increment. And also the people who are vulnerable like Daswasuma and all those people got a particular increase in their monthly income. So basically we are not saying they are living happily, but we are coming out of this. At the same time, we have a huge...
But there is a question, Chathuranga, whether their disposable income has increased. Actual disposable income has increased.
So this is now disposable income is basically the gap between the expenditure and the income. What is what you call the real wage, right? So if the inflation is not moving up, the real wage gets secured, right? So that is where I would say that in statistical comparison, it has not got worse since we took power, right? How it's going to get eased is the number of economic activities are increasing. Now you see public credit is increasing. Number of credit card users are increasing. And then the interest rate has fallen to 8% on average, and there is a lot of consumption and investment that is taking place. 78 businesses have signed up with Ministry of Industries to start new factories within this last quarter to next year, right? The investments are coming into BOI, which will cross 1 billion by this end of this year. So things are moving. That is what's going to trickle down to people. And if you take the farmers and the rest of the government servants and the people who are vulnerable, especially in the central province, the people in the north, there is a lot of development activities now taking place on the ground. Now, if you take my electorate, we have got allocation about 69 million to develop certain critical issues in Kotte. These are not major projects, but still small things. So what I would say is the livelihood of a general citizen from September 2024 to now is getting better.
Yeah, so Chathuranga, just to get some context to this, this issue that we're talking about President Ranil Wickramasinghe.
That's the topic today.
Yes, that's the topic today. I just want to ask you, do you think the CID should be independent, yes or no?
CID?
Should the CID be independent, yes or no, in your opinion?
It's a tough question.
Why is it such a tough question? Is the CID, should the CID be independent?
So it's like this CID's operations.
No, I'm asking a very general
It should
question.
be independent.
Should be independent. Who is the director of the CID?
Shania, basically.
Wasn't Shania Abeysinghe in your political stages before the campaign?
Yeah.
So doesn't that mean that the CID is politicized now?
Sorry?
Doesn't that mean that the CID is politicized now?
There can be political influence of that particular political
Don't you
view.
think the issue that cropped up with regard to Ranil Wickramasinghe's case is also politicized?
I don't think so.
Now you're saying that the CID should be independent, and then when I asked you whether Shania Abeysinghe is the director, then you said he's the director as well.
Yeah.
Then whether or not it's politicized, then you say you don't think so. Why is that? For a layman who's looking from outside may think if Shania Abeysinghe was in a political stage, it would have definitely been politicized, the arrest.
This is to do the right things, Shamir. Now, in terms
No,
of...
but do you agree that there is a disparity in all
There is a conflict in that sense. I agree. But what we are looking at is the context and the outcomes.
Right.
So
that's
the
point
whole-
number one.
Yeah.
Right. That's point number one. You don't have to explain it further because you just admitted that there is fault. Second thing is, I recollect on the 30th of December 2021, Vasanta Samarasinghe, then he was not a minister, he made a huge fan cry about President Mahinda Rajapaksa going to Tirupati in a private jet. And then he went on to say that
The jet was from Uganda, right?
Uganda, yes, Uganda. Absolutely correct. So I'm just looking at this because Shihar spoke about the Vietnam jet as well. So obligations comes because Vasant Samarasinghe at that time, who was not a minister but a trade union activist, said that Mahinda Rajapaksa is now obligated that party for going to Uganda. Now, when President Anuradha Wimalaratne is returning from Vietnam, he is not obligated?
It's not a private deal. No, it's a government that was who provided that, right?
No, government of Vietnam did not supply. That's wrong. I don't think you have got your facts right. It was from the Buddhist Association of Vietnam that supplied the. So that's a private entity. Chathuranga. Chatur, you're supposed to answer. I'm looking at you.
No, I don't have the details to answer.
Right.
So now, see, and on foreign trips and local trips, the president and ministers, right, of this government, when they go, don't they have private meetings, meeting the party members, going to people's houses for dinners and things like that?
Yeah, so that's why I said the vehicles basically is used for both private and public use because it's a quota that is given, a vehicle that is being given. So we all use one vehicle, not like 4 to 10 vehicles like early. So that
yeah, but it's happening with this government as well, right?
Yeah.
Even when the president goes abroad. Yeah, even when this president goes abroad, he's going to private functions and private events as well, right?
Chaturanga, on this.
No, wait. I'd rather add a question. Yes, Chaturanga.
So political events, it does go.
And private dinners and things at houses?
I don't know.
In foreign trips?
I don't know.
Chaturanga, now, Ranil Wickramasinghe went to prison because of, there's a the procedural error, right? Now, under your government, if the same thing happens, what would have been the correct procedure? I mean, a person.
That's what I said.
The president going, to visit,
essential
a private visit, or say his sons or daughters, graduation. What's the correct procedure?
So I think the basics of protocol, like officer, that is like security and transport in terms of general transport and all that. I think there should be allowance or there should be understanding that the private things on that way or something can happen or you can visit. But if you're spending on that particular travel beyond your normally allocated monthly expenditure. Now we all have a budget, right? So we all have a budget to travel, budget to expense, budgeted staff, budgeted officers, budgeted security, all that is budgeted.
Honourable Minister, I'm just interrupted. Have we exceeded any his budget within his budget or Ranil Wickramasinghe?
I don't know. I'm answering him, right? So in that sense, so if you are requesting more money for that particular personal travel, that is not right.
Yeah. Now the budget is Chathuranga allocated annually through the annual budget, right? Now, once the budget is allocated for, especially for President and Prime Minister,
there's two, recurrent and on request.
Okay.
You can have budget,
So
like you can have a budget for foreign travel, but you have to request it, right? So that is where the difference is. Now, budget for security is kind of a fixed head count, fixed structure, but budget for foreign travel, budget for some project or event, those budgeted are budgeted, but then you have to keep requesting why you need that expenditure. So that is how we would...
Is there any specific regulation or law for the spending of President or Prime Minister in this country?
I don't think so.
So
that's what I'm saying. So in that sense...
So if there is no law or regulation...
So that is why this, based on the current regulation of these prosecutions are taking place.
What's the current regulation? Are you talking about the proceeds of crimes or what?
So misuse of public funds, right?
Okay.
So that is
that comes under proceeds of crimes, is it?
I'm not technically sure about the legal status of that, right? So basically this is using public funds for things other than public interest. That is the whole premise of it.
As per the Constitution, I think the public procurement process also doesn't apply to the President's office.
Exactly. This is
so that's how the Constitution protects the presidency.
I think so. The thing is this, right? So I would say, since this is being debated, okay, whether we did the right, it's like this again, whether we did, that's what I'm trying to say, whether the government did the right thing or not, or whether the Attorney General Department did the right thing or not, whether somebody complaining it about right or not, I think we will get a very clear verdict very soon from the court with the interpretation of what's possible, what's not possible, and whether there need to be further law that need to be brought in, or whether further regulation or clarity need to be brought in. I think it will come through this thing. So we can't judge.
Basically learning on the job.
No, because you
like everything else. Distraction. Yes, I agree.
But what I'm trying to say
is, explanation is learning on the job.
Because it's now he is talking about whether that we instructed this to happen, right? That is the premise we are talking about, right? So what we will also learn out of this.
CID was on your political stage now.
So no, what I'm trying to say is
CID head the secretary.
No, that is why we have a judiciary, right? That is why we have a judiciary. Complaining to the judiciary and judiciary making decisions is the process that Sri Lanka follows. So you have officials. They will put there are many instances that the judges have told the police that you have got the law wrong. You have got the interpretation wrong, therefore I dismiss this case.
Well, I just want to ask you the Kithsiri question. Kithsiri, you asked from Chathuranga whether the money has exceeded.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money President Ranil Wickramasinghe has spent on foreign travel?
Yeah, I have heard.
Do you know?
Wait, I have heard.
I will tell you if you don't know.
Some
I can tell you.
900 million something?
No. For 12 trips, he has spent 178 million. This was under the RTI that was obtained by a Jaffna-based journalist. And out of this, now, we work in the corporate sector, so we are a little bit attuned with this number game a little bit, right? So, US, UK and Cuba tour. He has spent approximately 23 million. US, UK, Cuba. So, 3 countries. So now, deducting this 16 million, 7 million only he has spent from US to the US and the UK and to the US and Cuba. 16 million he has spent on UK. That is a bit of a... he wanted a luxury time.
Wait.
That's now, proper holiday.
Do you think that he stayed in US in one of the super hotels, I mean, one of similar type hotels, even Cuba, right? Probably London prices are higher than Cuban price, right?
Honestly, no, that is true. I agree with you. Cuban prices may be lower, UK prices must be higher. But US prices can't be lower. You now go to booking.com now and check basic 5-star hotel.
Right. See, it's now,
you know how much?
Wait.
At least $200.
Give me a second. Now we are trying to give all right. Ranil Wickramasinghe's foreign trips for that last 2 years, right? Just those foreign trips are help this country to get economically or stabilize the country. Those he used those.
No, but when he knew he was going on a private visit, he should have stayed at a lower, like a normal hotel, no?
Do you think? I mean, a president of a country can stay like that? Now, Honorable Anuradha Wimalaratne took a private jet to come to Vietnam to here. Hari? So, in a 3-star hotel, 4-star, come on.
From the 23 million that was spent on the US, UK, Cuba tour, 16 million on for 1.5 days.
So, you have to get the breakdown. I don't know what the hotel
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Correct. Breakdown.
The other two places must have been sponsored by those governments.
Yeah, probably.
Like Chathuranga was saying.
UN probably sponsored by in UN.
Buddhist organization.
UN doesn't sponsor
any
fine,
probably. No, just imagine, just tell me, right? 16 million, right? 1.5 days. Do you think that Ranil Wickramasinghe has taken this money into his pocket? He's eating or drinking or what is that? I'm asking.
I am also asking how much of money was spent.
So then
someone else took that money.
No, that's why I'm also asking. So this money is spent for the hotel, the vehicles, spent. Not only the ticket, even also it's a transit flight. It's coming from New York to London and Colombo, transit flight. Even his wife's ticket is taken by herself. Because after that she went to Germany, right? She has not used any public money to travel in...
so from the US to the UK, Maitri Wickramasinghe has not taken the state money?
No, his own money. She flew on her own.
That can be independently verified. But we believe if you're
right. After that, she didn't come back to Sri Lanka. She went to Germany for some other right? Right. So that's her money, right? Do you think that any other presidents or any other in the country they use personal money to go travel, first lady to travel like that? No. Now you're talking about Ranil Wickramasinghe's 2 years foreign trips expenses. Just calculate Honorable Anuradha Wimalaratne's trips and the previously Maithripala Sirisena's, Mahinda Rajapaksha's, then Gotabe's and all the others. You can calculate and see. That's probably a huge amount. Yeah, but you are trying to aiming Ranil Wickramasinghe, the person who...
If you look at it from the Right to Information Act, based on those information, when this journalist had asked for the president's official visit, they have only given London, Singapore, Japan, Cuba, New York, Germany and China. In this list, the UK is missing. So the UK was definitely a private visit.
It was not categorized as official.
Yeah.
Who's
in the Right to Information Act, when they ask, tell us.
No, that means transit. It's not transit even there.
Nothing. You want to see?
No, so I don't know this. I can't comment on that.
Believe me.
True.
You can believe me.
Right. Say New York to Colombo. So where did he get transit? But he has to come through somewhere.
He can't go to Dubai, he can't go to Abu Dhabi.
He can, but because of wife's issue, the graduation, he can come through that. If a president of a country or my wife or my daughter's graduation, if I can't...
No, we are not questioning about that. Yeah. What we are questioning is why was public money used? There is no problem. He can go anywhere he wants.
Right.
No problem.
No, what I am trying to say is public money means now he's coming from, come on. Now New York to London.
Come on, what
wait. New York to London. That's a official trip. London to Colombo official trip. I stayed 1.5 days in, President stayed 1.5 days in London. And went to his wife's graduation and not only that, but he also had some other meeting. I'm not much, don't know the details about it, I don't want, right? 1.5 days. So
and
we'll say 2 days.
Offered dinner.
Right? So
hosted by
a dinner and with the Sri Lanka ambassador there and the protocol officers were there and all were there, right? So the president, the protocol officers and embassies may have arranged the hotels, may have arranged the vehicles to go. then they should know to.
The president requested for this hotel in question.
Is mentioned it? Right, fine. Right. I mean, he has having right to do that. He's the president of the country. He can't go and stay in a boutique hotel or a Airbnb hotel somewhere in London. He needs a hotel to
Dr.
stay.
Kithsiri, now let's
Kithsiri,
talk.
all this Kithsiri, now don't forget, all this money was spent Kithsiri when Sri Lanka was going through a very bad patch.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. No, it's good
right.
to, we can laugh about it now because now the country's economy is doing well.
You look in the other way around also.
Yeah.
The country was in 2000
now
was in a situation.
Now
but
he asked question from
he took the challenge to take the country back.
No.
He did it. Now the NPP government, the Honorable AKD Anuradha Wimalaratne is taking this and to move in the same track. He has not changed anything at all. He uses the IMF rules, Ranil Wickramasinghe's track.
Because if you look at it, in that same year, he went to London in May 2023 and June 2023 as well. And then he has gone to again to UK in October for the vice graduation.
So probably
a lot of official visits.
Right, lot of officials. So some invitation, probably meeting some people in the sense to the this country was in bad way.
What was the investment he brought from?
No, just tell the country he has taken to the back track.
So when he takes the country back to track, he can do whatever he wants.
No, not he can't do whatever he wants. But is a travel? I don't have the figures what he has done for all these 12 trips.
You ask me, I will tell you.
Right.
I have the.
So
You're not even asking me.
No, I don't want to ask you, right? So I'm telling you. I mean, anybody can accuse saying that, right? Even a head of state. So he has to some sort of trips you have to go, right? Why Honorable Anuradha Wimalaratne went for 7? How many trips? Honorable Minister, 6, 7? No.
Now 7.
For him, 7. Why is that? For 1 year.
And
so now
he also
the
country get from those.
Yeah. No, he also may go for another year. He may go for another 6, 7 countries. So it will be also
what was
15 countries
brought to the country after this visit?
So first is the strength of the support that we want to solidify, especially India, China, the Middle East, and now he's going to Japan as well. That is like, everybody talks about this new Sri Lanka, right? So you need to go and pitch yourself what is the change, how we are doing the change.
So same thing.
And at the same time, so both India and especially all these 3 countries kind of agreed on certain projects that we would do. India agreed on certain projects. China agreed on certain projects, and especially in China, we signed up on this the refinery deal. I think that's a big investment which will be close to about 7 billion to Hambantota.
7?
Yeah. So the initial investment is about 3.7 billion, and then around that there will be more investments coming in based on the refinery, which is the entire project is about a 7 billion scope.
But it has been delayed. No?
Yeah, it has been delayed because of the tax issues and the the incentives issues. So that
was earlier. I think there was a they were promised 25-year tax holiday, whereas the IMF is against
that's the problem, right? We have. Yeah, so I think it was the same problem in the port city also. We got about 4 investments through, because if you really, for the audience benefit also, the port city was given a long tax holiday, I think more than 25. And the buildings that built in that the infrastructure will get the same amount of a tax holiday, and the businesses who will reside in those buildings will also get the same tax holiday. So basically there's no tax coming out of the zone. So that is why it was opposed by IMF, saying there's a huge leakage that you need to fix. So
well, I remember, Chathuranga, you told for Port City and Sinopec, they will be brought under Strategic Investment Act, right?
So that's what I'm trying to say. So initially we got these 4 investments running, because now it's about 1.3 billion that will come into the Port City. Now the act is being drafted, which will be tabled within next 2 months, about the strategic investment incentives. So based on the investment value, there will be particular incentives set that it will be transparent and visible to everyone. Because historically what has happened is, based on the investment, based on the negotiation, the cabinet has decided what is the incentive that needs to be given. Now we have a problem with the Raur zone also, because the initial mill has got about a 15-year, and now the new ones are also asking a similar tax holiday. So we want to make it transparent. That is where the act will come. So what I'm trying to say is, these are the things that got secured, especially with the India, the digital transformation support that we are getting is enormous because it's something that we want to drive. So that is what the president went when, especially on the Middle East. Now we are going a three-way venture with India, I think UAE and Sri Lanka, where the Trinco is going to get built into energy hub. So likewise, all these tours are with a very specific target. Even this Japan tour that's going, I mean, I'm also going for the expo. So basically, we have a very strategic plan. What is the outcome that we want to bring? And I think Japanese are also very keen to understand how this new economic strategy will take place. And if you take India, Japan already have about 4 industrial zones itself that Japan has done. Now the Vietnam, the largest investment team came last week, so they're asking about a 600-acre zone. So we are actually trying to figure out where to give such a large
for what?
For industrial zone. So they will do build operate. The government doesn't have to put money. So that's the best way that we could go forward for industrial zones. So it's basically the investment will come from that country as well as the factories also. So these are the kind of deals that we want to secure for these visits.
On Sinopec, Chathuranga, now do you have a time frame? When is it likely to come?
The sooner the possible. So it's a negotiation that's ongoing. So because as soon as we give the green light, they will start the building piece. So the only problem we have is 2 things. One is the tax incentive, as you said, there can be discussions. The other one is the local.
Yeah, we hear that they wanted to distribute something like 20%, which is the 80% of Sri Lankan market.
Yeah, so that is where another debate is on, because the initial feasibilities has been done like that. So now that's why the new government has to struggle in negotiation in many of the cases.
Basically.
No, but that was signed by you all, no?
Sorry?
I thought that was signed by you all.
The memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, so then why are you saying that the previous government?
No, the initial feasibility is what we can't agree to.
But you all signed the agreement.
We signed the agreement of the understanding that they will invest in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
But there's a resistance that they want to come on the original agreement of the feasibility.
So it's not going to happen?
It will happen. It's a negotiation that's taking place. We are positive about it.
Right. Damitha, now for me to understand now, your next presidential candidate, Namal Rajapaksa, am I right?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Namal Rajapaksa had said that this is not about, crying about what's going on in the country. It's about uniting as a strong force to defeat suppression, all that, and anti-democratic values and norms in the country. Is there any way in which that Namal Rajapaksa, Sajid Premadasa, Ranil Wickramasinghe will unite? Do you see this happening at the next political stage?
Shamir, I think it's too early to comment on that. No? So now we have another 4 more years to go for the presidential election. And the way things are unfolding, I don't think this government will last, we'll say, to pass the year 2027. I mean, I don't know which planet Mr. Chathuranga Abeysinghe is on. But after President Dissanayake took over, almost the essential commodities doubled. If you take rice, if you take coconut, likewise the cost of living has gone up.
How?
But the figures, inflation figures are negative. I don't know whether they are taking a base year.
You are saying central bank figures are wrong, or what?
I'm not disputing. I'm just my observations on the market.
No, let's take observation. I'll take numbers.
Can I just finish?
I mean,
so basically, the way things are going, and I'm quite certain they won't be able to achieve the reserve foreign exchange reserve targets also set by the IMF, and it looks like we are heading for a second default. Although he's picturing a rosy, scenario, internationally getting acceptance and getting investments. As far as this year is concerned, the real inflow of investment is less than 100 million, which also came to a project which was signed off and started during President Mahinda Rajapaksa's time. I don't want to mention brand names. So within the BOI, Shamir, you can sign any amount of agreements, papers. That doesn't mean that it materialized into a real asset on ground, right? We have seen that in past. So it's well and good president traveling to Germany and, you know, meeting the president of Germany, who is a ceremonial figure, right? The day-to-day economic affairs and running of the country is done by the Chancellor of Germany, whereas our head of state, I don't know, probably it was official, you know, invitation. If it's a state invitation, as far as my knowledge in international relations, the hosting country bears all the costs. So I don't know whether it's an official visit or a state visit. Anyway, going to Germany and meeting the president will have no real, you know, economic, you know, trickling down of projects or anything, because the day-to-day affairs are run by the Chancellor. I don't know whether Mr. Disanayake was not briefed about it before he, you know, took part in this visit. So anyway, coming on to that, yeah, we are very confident that this government is rapidly losing popularity of the masses. That's the, I mean, one of the main reasons behind the postponement of what you call provincial council elections, hiding behind the delimitation, you know, issue, right? They have 159 in parliament. They can clearly go back to the, you know, previous electoral method and hold the provincial council elections.
Well, Damitha, it's unfair to say that, because this has been dragged from 2016, right? Under Yahapalaya, under Gotabaya.
Sorry, so Shihar.
Under Yahapalaya, under Gotabaya's government, under Ranil's government, and now under this government.
What was their main criticism about Ranil Wickramasinghe postponement of elections?
Local government elections.
Yeah, local government elections. See, the provincial councils are also sort of a local issue, local governance based, you know, election and you know, structure. So why not? You have, the people were so courteous to give them 159 parliamentarians. They can anytime, you know, change it back to the previous system and hold elections. Why are they delaying? Why are they hiding behind the delimitation? Because 1 year has passed, no visible or credible delivery, only talk. You know, one day the tourism minister says he has brought 3.7 billion US dollar revenue through inflow of tourism. Next day the deputy minister says it's 1.7 billion. So this is a comedy of errors as far as I see. And also visibly, if you ask a common man on the road whether, you know, their life has improved or not during this year of Mr. Anuradha Disanayake's presidency, I think you will clearly get the answer.
Well, Anuradha, I just want to ask you now, SJB is the main opposition, right? Now, a vibrant opposition is, it's something, a key in a democracy, right? But why can't the SJB put its act together in exerting pressure on government? Now, if you talk to all the opposition parties, they all say, okay, this government is not doing right thing. They don't have the experience. They don't have insight or in-depth knowledge on anything, right? You say everything. But as opposition, you don't do your duty, right? Apart from criticizing the government, what have you done?
Shihar, this is the thing. Yeah, a vibrant opposition is definitely required in a country. But now, yes, you know, like, but I don't believe that the job of the opposition is just blaming the government.
But that's what you are doing now.
No. Like, see, Shihar, now Chathuranga was saying a lot of things that, you know, they are doing right? They are saying, you know, they are bringing in investments. You know why they can do this? Because they have an opposition that is not blatantly against everything the government is doing. Now imagine if a red party, right? Like, you know, when we were in power, if they had been in power, or if they had been in the opposition, will these investments be possible? When, you know, like the president goes to Japan and India and, you know, try to do these digital things, they are going to be like, now, you know, our information is going to go to India.
Don't
we are selling to the West.
Anuradha, don't forget the cannabis growing issue.
Yeah, cannabis growing issue. And you know, this whole thing about, you know, like Chathuranga was saying about this BOIs. Do you know when the Japanese were trying to come in the early 80s, who was against that? with all these trade union actions, and like Chathuranga was saying, they are handling the strikes really well.
Come on, Anuradha.
That is because we are supporting them in when they are doing the right thing, and when they are doing the wrong thing, we are against it. See, that is the difference between the SJB and any other opposition party. We are always thinking what is best for the people.
Yeah, just for clarity, Damitha, I just went through the price list. There is not a big change since Anuradha Wimalaratne took the day that he took power.
I think
onions were at 400 rupees a kilo, and then now it's 235.
Now,
Just to give you some context.
What about rice?
Rice was at 235. Rice is now also at 235.
No, what people...
Yeah, central bank data.
No, thing is...
About the central bank data.
Damit,
Real market prices, if you
He
compare, I
doesn't
don't
believe in it.
No, Damit...
No, just for clarity.
No, Samir, what happens is now why people think that the prices should come down is because of disinflation. The inflation is minus. So let me explain you. So when the inflation is minus, it does not mean that prices are going down drastically.
I know, Shan.
Right?
So it's compared to a base year.
Yeah.
Right.
So
what I'm saying is,
it's stable.
After Mr. Disanayake took power, on real market prices, if you get the data from Petao, anyway, I don't know numbers. I have a big issue with this government. One day a minister says 3 billion, next day his deputy says 1.7.
That's obvious, right?
I can point out 10 mistakes like that, right? So let's not get
government.
let's not get into that because central bank says 5.4% growth, World Bank says 3.2. So then there itself there is a. It's not Damitha Wickramasinghe saying.
Usually what happens, even last year the central bank decided on a negative growth, but we ended up on a positive.
4.8.
Yeah, 4.8. So it's always revalued and realigned based on the agility of the country. Chathuranga, you want to say about the cannabis growing?
Yeah. So now
And the casinos.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot that.
I think it's a good one. So good debate, good discussion. So on the cannabis, the Diana proposal was to allow to grow cannabis as an export crop within the country. So some of these ministers,
Chathuranga was one of the blatant,
so gone and taken some lands to grow cannabis. So we've dismantled that entire board paper, and we have given a specific BOI company in a specific BOI area to create the the extract of cannabis and export. That's about it. Right? So there is no blanket approval that you can go and apply and get a land and grow cannabis for export. So that is the difference between Diana's cannabis project and this cannabis project. And also, personally also, I'm not a promoter of this particular drug because I feel as a country we are not a country that is grown at a state of developed nation, where majority of the children are vulnerable for these kind of addictive.
You being a deputy minister,
anyway, and
you being a deputy minister,
and not for smoking.
So that's what I'm saying.
Chathuranga, you being a deputy minister.
That's why I'm saying now.
You being a deputy minister, can't you raise your voice within the party about now? You're saying that there are issues like this.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Are you raising your voice?
Not personally, even as a party, we are against allowing cannabis to a general usage. It is for export purposes on a specific project. Very focusedly, we are doing it through a BOI project. We dismantled the proposal that these guys brought it. That is to allow anybody who seeks approval and anywhere in the country, that some of these ministers have gone and bought land also to grow cannabis. That is not what we are going to do. So this is basically export oriented project which will convert cannabis into extraction, like some liquid for medical purposes. That is been very cleared out. So what I'm trying to say is the policies are different. Even in the casinos, they have been operating casinos with zero benefit to this country, right? With the cabinet approval, with some regulations. Now what we are doing is bringing an act to have a regulatory authority that we can regulate the casinos, right? So it's the way that every country runs with regulation, that you would get the taxes. Now, for example, online betting and all those things, we never had any regulation. And even the casinos which are running, no money is coming in as the winners taxes, like what do you call it, like they pay the taxes on what they declare as income tax, but the amount of money that is won within the casino is not taxed, right? There is no
nowhere in the world. Nowhere in the world it's taxed.
No, it's taxed.
Yeah.
Because there's a withholding tax even in
No, for casino.
No.
Winning,
I think in US they tax it, no?
No.
Casino
Could
no,
be
no.
on your personal income, but
yeah,
not on the winning.
not winning.
Not on the winning.
No,
Nowhere
there
in
is a
the world.
withholding tax.
That's the whole
You have to
purpose.
That
give.
is why
you-
people take their money to the casinos to make it white.
No, so that is not allowed in Sri Lanka going forward for sure. So
That is going to be banned.
that is going to be very well regulated. We are doing very similar to
So do you
Singapore.
think people will come to Sri Lanka?
Yeah, people will come because now we have few people who are also operating and getting new licenses, aware of what's going to happen as well.
So it's going to be 100% regulated by the government.
It is going to be regulated by this particular authority.
So that authority has not been established yet.
No, that's why that came. So the authority will be there. Then the rulings will be.
I just want to ask you, Chathuranga, what is with this? Now we heard that the court has sent a confidential document to the speaker about repealing the benefits of the former presidents. When is that going to be disclosed to the general public?
Not to my knowledge. I'm not aware of this.
Okay.
Chathuranga, now about the economic growth, right? What's the expected economic growth for this
year? We would surpass 5%. That's what you're saying. Or we'd get very close to 5%.
Yeah, but how concerned are you on the capital investment, because you allocated 1.34 trillion rupees? Even after 8 months passed, it's only 200
I
billion.
think so. Even today, even my ministry, our expenditure stands about 20% of the capital budget. Now, the reality is, this estimates generally, this is very good that we are looking at it in this detail every year. It's what's get reported is a cash disbursement, but the commitments don't come as the performance, physical performance.
True, but the capital investment means you have to spend, and then you have to
so
start,
basically
you have to start economic activity,
Yes,
right?
so
it's
that-
not happening now.
It is happening. It is happening. So every ministry has been given a clear mandate, or even the disbursements on the ground. Now, for example, I can give you a very simple example. Currently, court expenditure is zero. This timing. But we are very sure by November, majority of that will be expensed. So now there's a strong monitoring from top to get it done. But I would say we would reach about a 75%
So
to 80% mark.
if I ask you, under the capital investment projects for this year, what have you done so far?
So in the government, now for example, all the ministries which has their capital budget, that is getting spent. But in terms of the visible ones, we are seeing the road developments and the ones that is happening on the transportation sector, some ones that are happening on the infrastructure like zone development. So those are currently taking place. And most of the capital expenditure that is allocated for education and health is also getting spent at this time. The real reason for this delay is the budget was presented 3 months after what it should.
Yeah, but now it has 6 months or 7 months passed from that
so
point.
Even now, if you take the September figure, it would be quite drastically different from the July figure. That's what we are aware of. That is why I am saying, in estimate, more than 70% will be expended. And also, the growth that we are getting today is not due to a capital expenditure in 2024. We need to understand this also. Now, this particular capital expenditure this year is going to impact the next year's growth.
So if you don't invest this year, next year growth will
so
will
that's
have
what
an
I'm saying. If we expend this year, it will be much better next year, because now what we are getting a 5% without spending any capital in 2024. You get my point? Now what we are getting in 2025 is not spending more than 500 billion on the capital last year, but we are still getting this is coming from production, this is coming from exports, right? So what will happen with the capital expenditure, it will circulate faster, it will give more money circulation, and it will push the growth. So the projected the growth going to be beyond 5% is something that we are very confident of.
How confident are you preventing another economic crisis in 2028?
Yeah, so 2028, if you just forecast it to that, the debt sustainability analysis has been done on particular assumptions, and we are within those assumptions. Now, for example, what would at the end need to happen is ensure that the government borrowing stays within the limitation and ensure that the government tax collection is beyond what's been projected, and the inflations and the interest rates stay at the debt sustainability analysis levels, and we are within those frameworks. So if we go in this particular trajectory, we are assured to have about 12 billion reserve by 12.3 billion reserve by 2028, and that is where
13 point, right?
Sorry,
13 point.
Target is 30.
I think it's 12 point something. If I'll get the DSA again. So that is, and all these indicators are better than the projection. Now, as he correctly said, the projection is 3.5%, which is at the base rate, but we are doing 4.8. We would do 5.5%. We are better. So our anyway, the debt to GDP ratio will also drastically come down going forward. So I think this is a good position to be in if we keep this trajectory going. So the exports 10% growth is very much achievable. So next year we are looking at a 15% growth. And the markets are aligned. Now we have given very specific tasks to our foreign, the officers, like, the ambassadors and the trade attaches. Every month EDB is monitoring, every 3 months President is monitoring, every 6 months EDCM is happening. And today even, apart from EDCM, the President calls in exporters specifically every other month to debottleneck these problems within each industry. Now we are working on 26 issues.
But Chathuranga, the biggest issue on this SWAT has not been solved.
No, it's not going to get solved. It's very clear. The SWAT will be removed, and government is, the Ministry of Finance is confident that the new technology that's going to be implemented will resolve this issue.
Within 45 days there will be reimbursement. Within 45 days there will be reimbursement.
That is based on the risk analysis. But we have been getting complaints from the SME sector, Shamir. I think that is very clear. We are, as the Ministry of Industries, we are also trying to see what is the possibility, whether there is a time lag that we are going to give, because we can't avoid this happening. We have to go through this change. It's a difficult change. It's like the fingerprint thing. Not everybody would like to change their processes, but people will have to adapt to this.
It's two different things, Chathuranga. Fingerprint is clearly getting, that's corruption. If you don't keep your fingerprint and put
so Shamir, you have to agree that SWAT is also corruption. SWAT process, currently there is a huge leakage, and that is been proven. That using SWAT process, there are certain entities which are misusing the funds. So that is where the leakage.
So I want to wrap up, but before that I want to ask the four of you.
I have one question.
Yes.
Dr. Kithsiri, now how do you see the arrest of your leader Ranil Wickramasinghe as blessing in disguise, because basically politically he has strengthened. Second, he has diagnosed all this disease,
which was not there on date one.
Free medical
at the government hospital.
But we should not go to that, Shahar, because those are personal matters, and we should not stoop down to the level of discussing about
how do you see that
health of the form.
Now you ask the first
what I'm saying is he got the examination
whether it
free.
is blessing for him to have, anybody is getting arrested is a place, or it's not like that, right? So anyway, the opposition come together and united together is a different story. But Ranil Wickramasinghe is arrested. He's arrested for something else, but unity, it can come, because that's the politics, right? So as you mentioned about his, I know that he's having some medical issues, so all he's been treating, he's going to Singapore privately, right? To take medicine in Singapore.
He had some time to kind of,
Yeah. So it's good for him take a good rest, right, and be in the ICU and be in the hospital. But we didn't have any ulterior motive or any this thing to get any political gain on it. But this person get elected and all opposition got united is something else. It's not then part and parcel of this. I mean, if so, thanks to the ruling party that did something like that to Ranil Wickramasinghe and opposition got united. So that is what the people say. But my feeling is, so this is completely, as Honourable Minister also mentioned, that we know that there are some things we have to clean it up so that we have to have a benchmark. So we have to draw a line, whether it's a private trip, it's an official trip, or where to stay and which hotel to stay, what's the vehicle use. If that's so, when you're going abroad, then you have to say a rule, right? You can stay only, a president can stay only a 4-star hotel, 5-star hotel, something. Only president can get only 2 cars, right? Likewise, you have to have some sort of a rule. Right? That is not there. There's nothing. So without any having that sort of a role and president, that's the time say it's unfair to have such an allegation, but to have, I mean, for that sort of a thing. In future, I feel that if you can draw some sort of thing, now you can't go to see your mother, see father, funeral. If you are going, you have to pay your money, and those rulings or the norms or whatever should coming in. So then it's fine after that.
Okay, so we are wrapping up the show, but I want to pick all 4 of your brains on our topic tonight. Crossing the Rubicon. Crossing a point of no return, taking a definitive and a clear step of war, either literal or metaphorical, but in politics, are we right now at war in terms of politics? Let's start with you.
So I don't think so, because the thing as UNP, we feel that the government, we are not going to topple the government, or we are not going to distract the government, but they are doing it. So because they are doing our same policies as UNP did. So what my feeling is, let them do. If you are doing it really good for the country, we support it. So if you are not doing good, so we are going to attack it. So that's the as UNP, we don't want to. We want this government to run this 5 years.
So you are saying, I usually don't ask questions the last round, but I have to ask you this question. So you are saying the government is doing what you all did.
I mean, just tell me a change. Any IMF, they see us doing it, right? All the other things are the same thing.
Chathuranga's remarks, he can respond.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling that the carbon copy it, but 90% of what Ranil Wickramasinghe implemented, they are continuing it. But if you are not going to continue that, it's going to collapse the country. So they have, I mean, then that means IMF will move out, so they can move out. So like that, there are so many things. I mean, that's why they are doing a correct thing. They are doing a right thing. Why you want to object it? So we are doing this, whatever we implemented, they are continuing it. So we are not going to oppose that.
In terms of fighting corruption?
Yeah, fighting is fine. That's why I said, I mean, one of their main saying in their election campaign is anti-corruption. So they are doing it. It's fine if do it in a proper way. If you not take any revenge from a politician or opposition, that's fine. If you're doing a proper way, it's equal. Now they are saying that so for anybody, there's they take the equal for all these things. So everybody is fine. We'll wait and see.
Right, Damitha.
Yeah. In summary, Shamir, what I feel is now, out of this, big political show, I don't know whether they conspired together or not. The only beneficiary, obviously, is Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, because as Anuradha also clearly explained, he was political non-entity almost 2 weeks ago. Now he has somewhat become a hero or icon of the opposition, and that has led to at least the 2 leaders seeing eye to eye. So coming on to the performance of the government, Shamir, in terms of reserves, myself, even the economic experts, they are quite certain that the reserve targets according to the DSA cannot be achieved with the government, their current behavior. And also although they are trying to paint a rosy picture, if you look at day-to-day life, I don't think there is anything that has changed for the good. And also they are like trying to portray them as the saviors or the war generals against corruption, but when you try to shorten the procurement process of Lanka coal and the chairman resigns in protest, I don't know how to explain that, whether it's corruption or not. And also when you import salt at 40 rupees a kilo and let the private sector to sell it at 180, I don't know whether it's classified as corruption or not. And like I told in my opening statement, the particular complainant against Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, the current President's Secretary, unfortunately it was in the news that his family unfortunately met with an accident while traveling in the official vehicle without his presence. I don't know whether that's justifiable in line with Chathuranga's explanation or not. That is for the government to explain, and time will only tell. As far as our party is concerned, we are growing very strongly. Our leader Namal Rajapaksa is gaining rapid popularity with the decline of this government's popularity. And also I ask the government, if they are so confident of their performance, and if the people are that happy, why not everybody gets together and get back to the previous Provincial Council Act and go for a people's mandate, and that will also strengthen the government if they do perform well.
Well, thanks a lot, Damitha. Anuradha.
Yeah, Shamil, I don't think, I think that, crossing the Rubicon is, like that term is being used wrongly at this point. I don't think we are at a point like that, because if anything, I think we are against this government using our legal system, our judiciary in this kind of, let's say, a very low level manner. To gain political mileage, and maybe to distract people from the actual issues. But apart from that, apart from them making a mockery of our legal system, I don't think we are at a Rubicon point at this moment, because as Mr. Kithsiri Manchanayake said, this government, we are not against it. They are doing most of our policies because they haven't done even one thing that they said on their policy. Because I remember Chathuranga was on another program with me, and he said that their policy statement is going to be a agreement or mandate or agreement with the people, and if that is not being held up, people should go to courts, and none of that is happening, and almost everything that they are doing are the things actually that we said that we will do, and in those days they were dead against them. So I want this.
I don't understand. No, Kithsiri is saying the NPP is doing what they are saying. You're saying, but you all said only the NPP is doing.
No. See, the thing is, UMP and SJB, on economic matters, we sit on the same place. So, we basically have the same kind of policies when it comes to economics, whereas the JVP was totally against that. And the reason that I'm happy with this government is because I think this government should go on for 5 years. Because
based on your blueprint, the NPP is not doing any of those in the blueprint.
No, but the thing is that they are not sticking to what they promised either.
Maybe, but they are not doing anything what you all said that you all were doing.
I think IMF and everything was Mr. Sajid Premadasa was the first ones to say that, and these guys were against it, but it doesn't matter. I think the NPP should be in power for the next 5 years, so that they understand themselves that the things that they were saying was not doable, and the people of this country has to realize most of these things that have been said were lies. And for the past 76 years, why development didn't happen in this country was because of the state service, student organizations and labor unions. All these were backed by the JVP, and this country was held back because of them.
Held hostage.
Yeah, and like now that opposition, since that opposition is not there, the country can progress. And as I was saying during makeup, NPP is not going to be the country, be the government that actually develops this country. NPP government is going to be the government before the government, government that is going to develop this country.
Right,
They are going to set the people's mindset.
Thanks a lot, Anuradha. Chathuranga.
We just crossed it. We just crossed it with the mandate that we were given. So people rejected the old system. So we are moving into the new system where the rule of law will be equal to everyone. We are moving into a system. I agree to certain extent, Shavin. Now, 2016 budget I read out in Parliament last week and said the 25 things they said that they would do. Mr. Wickramasinghe and Ranil Wickramasinghe and half of majority of the SJB economists said that they would do in 2016. They have not done until 2024. So we are doing it. That's the beauty of it. So what they couldn't do in 2016 on tax collection, technology brought in, development economics, zone creation, anti-tariff, anti-dumping policy, the changes in the bills of exchange, all these things you couldn't do, right? That is what has happened during these 9 months. What you fail to do is happening. So obviously you can say these were the things we were supposed to do, correct, but you were incapable of.
Why did they fail?
No, because it was never implemented.
So
all these recommendations, because in the same, this is not the policy. Now in the same time, the policy book that we presented is what is getting executed. The problem is they have not read our policy book. You have thought our policy book is what was said on news and paper. The policy book is very clear on the reforms of education, reforms of health, reforms of environment, reforms of agriculture, reforms of industry. These are the files that the tabled cabinet decisions from Ministry of Industries, more than 12. And across each of the ministries, we have passed more than 350 cabinet decisions, 10 coming today. These were the changes that they were incapable of doing it. So from an economic perspective, there is no return. From a legal and the cultural perspective of politics, there is no return. There is only forward. And the victory is the citizens of this country would see a new Sri Lanka where all the economic reforms which are needed for the country to grow will get implemented within these 5 years with the trajectory of about 20 years. And the legal system and the political culture will also go forward. You will not cross back the river. So that is the difference that this government will bring. And I am pretty sure, and the last point I want to make is, if the opposition stays the same culture, same politics, same interest of doing politics, Anuradha Dissanayake clearly said there will be fossils of politics in this country. And where NPP will continue to flourish, you don't have to create a single party. As long as you guys don't get your act together, you will never win. Thank you.
This is not one of those files from the pickup, no?
No, this is what we have done. So that will happen. And majority will have to, I think there are 3,000 cases, files that's been investigated.
That's not, guy. If that's the case, leave it to me. Go.
Probably that's the file of the rocket.
Right. Thanks a lot, Deputy Minister Chathuranga Abeysinghe from the NPP. Chathuranga, one thing I have to say, you told that you will come every 3 months on the show. Nice to have you back after 3 months again.
Yeah.
Anuradha Wimalaratne from the SJB, Damitha Wickramasinghe from the SLPP, and Dr. Kithsiri Manchanayake from the Red National Party. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this evening on Face the Nation. And you too for sending in the messages. I took as much as possible, taking away from the comments on the number 076 6565353. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, independent journalist Shihar, for joining us this evening on the show. I leave you tonight with a quote, as I always do. Politics, a strife of interest masquerading as a contest of principles, the conduct of public affairs for private advantage. Take care. and good night.